Hey, it's Vas here from Metro Hobbies, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at an old favorite, the Traxxas X-Max. Okay, so once you get the truck out of the box, as you can see, you get the truck fully assembled and ready to run. You have the radio, and of course you get a bag of goodies. Now this bag does come with some important bits and pieces and some information which I recommend everybody sort of look through. Some of the bits here, you got these long plastic bits. Now these actually go on the battery strap itself to kind of pack any thin batteries that you use in the truck. Kind of stops the batteries from sort of bouncing around in the tray. There's also a couple of foam blocks in here. This goes on either end of the battery to stop the battery from sort of sliding around in the tray. This is, again, if you use some slightly smaller batteries. You have a tool here which helps you to remove the wheel hexes in case you need to swap out tires or do any servicing on the truck. There's also some Allen keys and things like that. And of course you have the usual manuals, and they give you some stickers as well, warranty information, all that type of stuff is in the bag. So really cool that they've included all this stuff with the car. And of course you can also go on the Traxxas website, and we'll have links in the video description for you as well for you to check out, where you can get some additional information. There's exploded views, part numbers, all these sorts of things are on there in case you need any of that. Now for the radio itself, this is a radio that's been used with Traxxas for quite some time. It seems to be pretty reliable, plenty of range with this guy as well. Very nicely molded handle, so it fits good in the hand. Runs only on 4AA's, and as you see, there are no included batteries with the truck, so you will need to get AA's as well as the batteries for the truck itself. A really nice weighted trigger, nice foam wheel on here, no collapsible antennas or anything like that for you to break off. It's got a nice little sort of carry handle, which you can probably use to clip on your lanyard as well if you want to. You have a menu button and a set button up the top, and then of course you've got a couple of dials here. Now these dials do have, especially the multifunction one, does have multiple purposes depending on the menu that you are in within the radio. This is a fairly sort of comprehensive radio. It's got a lot of options, but you do need to read through the manual to understand how to tune all that. You can tune endpoints and things like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with this radio. And of course the other dial here is just for your steering trim. The on and off switch is just at the back here as well. And then on the back of the radio, there's actually a facility for you to actually put a wireless module. This allows you to connect to your smart device, like a smartphone, via Bluetooth. And by downloading a Traxxas app, it'll give you all sorts of telemetry information, provided of course you've got all that plugged in on the truck as well. Now, an interesting feature with this truck is that it does have TSM, and it has self-writing. So TSM stands for Traxxas Stability Management. This is kind of like their own version of a gyro. So it kind of helps keep the truck in a straight line when you're in some slippery surfaces. And of course the self-writing helps the truck kind of come back on its feet if it lands upside down. So if you end up tumbling the truck over and you're really far away, you can't be bothered walking all the way to get it, you press and hold the set button and the truck will actually start to rock on its roof until eventually it goes right side up. And that way you don't have to do the long walk of shame to go pick up your truck. Okay, so now onto the truck itself, but before we get stuck into it, I do want to kind of give you a little bit of trivia on the Traxxas X-Max, because this was released about, I think, 6 years ago, somewhere around there, and this truck originally came out as a 6S vehicle. Now, unfortunately, running this truck on 6S with the power system that Traxxas actually put in it kind of made the truck really underwhelming. A lot of people complained about it, and believe it or not, Traxxas actually listened, and they brought out an 8S version, which is what we see here today. But this is not originally how it came. Traxxas did have to do some upgrades to the diffs, the power system. They also included a wheelie bar, because the original one didn't actually come with the wheelie bar, because it was only 6S, it couldn't really do wheelies. So now running this on 8S means that it's become like a household name for anybody that wants something from Traxxas that's really the pinnacle of what they have on offer. The X-Max is definitely the one that you want to have if you want a Traxxas vehicle that's both fast, durable, handles really well, can jump incredibly well. This has unbelievable suspension right out of the box. You really don't need to do too much. And it is one of the most durable vehicles out there on the market today. And I can vouch for that because I have one myself, and it is really a good, very, very good truck. It's actually brilliant, I would say. Now, some of the really cool features that Traxxas have done with the X-Maxx, couple of things that they've improved over time, especially with the body. The body has always had this sort of like internal roll cage, and it also has always had this kind of clip system where you don't really need body clips to put the body in on the truck itself. It just has a really nice kind of clip system. You pop that in and then that's it, the body stays in there. But what Traxxas have done over time is they've actually put in some plastic little covers over the screws here just to stop the screws from sort of ripping out from the actual body itself. And they've put a little plastic lip on the back of the body as well, because when you do wheelies and you land upside down, one of the most vulnerable parts is this bit here, because it doesn't have, you know, a huge bumper. The front end kind of is a little bit more protected than the rear. So they've put that there to protect the body, which is really nice. So this just comes off, like I said, real nice and easy. You can see the internal roll cage all there. That's essentially how that works. So the body itself could be a little bit stronger, I feel. I think Traxxas could probably do a bit better on the thickness of the Lexan there, but overall I think they've made some really good improvements over time to make that a bit more durable. So there we are, the truck itself. This is one gnarly beast. It's very big, as you can tell, and you know, very clean underneath as well. A lot of premium parts and plastic is on this. A lot of engineering has gone into this truck, into this chassis, to make it as strong as it is. And Traxxas, I think, have done a pretty damn good job over time to get this the way that it is today. So. It is running a Monster ESC that is right in the middle here. And then, of course, you've got your, I think it's a 1250 kV motor that they're running these days right here in the back. And an interesting thing about the motor as well, and the way that this all sort of works, Traxxas actually came up with a really unique pin system on how to set up your motor and mesh your gears. So you can't really mess it up as long as you know the spur gear that you're using and the pinion gear that you're using. They've got a little chart when you remove the motor that allows, you know, you place your pins and then your motor just slides into those pins and it gives you the exact spacing to get the perfect gear mesh. Really clever design. Can be a little bit tricky to use for people that are a bit unfamiliar. But it is a really nice, ingenious design. The battery trays also a really good design. They just pop off like so and they slide in, and then you've got access to your batteries there. Very generous battery trays, and as I said, they give you these spaces as well, little foam blocks and so forth for when you're running slightly smaller batteries. Of course, you will need two 4S batteries to run in the truck. You can run two 3S if you do want to convert back to 6S. Maybe you want to give this to a young child to have a go, maybe your kids, or somebody that's a bit less experienced and you don't want to give them full power. You can run two 3S batteries in here just fine, but of course running 8S is where the fun is at. The truck does have a training mode as well, so if you don't have 6S batteries, you've only got the 8S batteries, then you can put it on training mode, which kind of reverts power back to about 50% or so, and it makes the truck a little bit easier to drive for those less experienced. Massive shocks, as you can see. Everything is like super beefy on this thing. The front bumper also has provisions for an LED bar, so you can get an LED light kit for the truck itself, which is kind of cool. You have a built-in wheelie bar which has quite a bit of flex, and this may seem a little bit vulnerable, but trust me, I've done some pretty crazy jumps with my truck, and I'm yet to break my wheelie bar. So you got to put in some effort if you do want to break these plastics. They do have a bit of flex, a bit of give, but they do that for a specific reason. So they're not too rigid, they don't snap on you too often. There are, of course, a number of upgrades and customizable parts for this truck as well. You can upgrade the arms, you can upgrade the bumpers, you can do a bunch of different things. There's also aftermarket bodies that you can get for the X-Maxx from Proline Racing, for example. You'll need to keep the roll cage, so you'll need to remove the roll cage from the existing body, put it on those aftermarket bodies, and you can change up the look of your truck. You get them in clear, you paint them up the way that you want, and away you go. In the stock form, there are a number of different color schemes. This, of course, is the red. There is an orange, there's a green, and then, of course, there's a rock and roll edition as well. There are some aftermarket tires that you can get for this truck as well, both from Proline and Louise, and we usually have those available here at the shop, so that's always good if you're not happy with the grip on the stock tires, although I haven't really found too much of an issue with the grip on the stock tires. I think they actually do pretty well. And then of course you can change out gearing and customize the speed and performance of the truck to your liking. The X-Maxx has been around for a long time. There is a ton of part support available out there, not just in the original parts, but also in third-party manufacturers. So you can go absolutely crazy as much as you want with something like this. Traxxas are well supported right throughout the world, and there's no shortage of upgrades and customizations that you can do with the X-Maxx. Definitely one of the best cars out there on the market, and without a doubt probably the best car that Traxxas has released to date. So with that, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and quick overview of the Traxxas X-Maxx, don't be shy. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out the video description. We'll have links in there to the trucks. We'll have links in there to some recommended batteries as well, and links to our socials if you want to catch up with us there. Thank you again for watching, and I'll speak to you all next time. Make it quick because my arms are hurting. This is like 9 kilos. Hurry up! It's going to start trembling soon. Because my arm